Good morning. It is quite nice out there today. It's really still, which is always pleasant up here because most of the time it is not. Today I'm going to plant out some of the bulbs, possibly all of them if I get that far, that I received the other day, the tulip bulbs. I also mustn't forget I've got daffodil bulbs to put out as well. I've been on the internet and I wrote down my list of my bulbs, wrote them all down with the different names of which varieties I bought, and wrote down the colour of each one beside it because I can't remember. It was weeks since I ordered them. So now that I know which ones, which colours for which varieties, I'm going to sort them out into different piles as to which bulbs I'm putting where, because all the pastel colour ones, that pinks, apricots, that sort of thing, are all going in the flower beds in the front garden, and then the brightly coloured ones are going in the side bed next to the drive, which is basically just got things in like garden mint, lady's mantle, red campion, that sort of thing in there. But in the spring it has daffodils and it has just a handful of tulip bulbs in there. So the idea is in the spring, before everything grows and it turns into a jungle again, we get a wave, a flush of colour in that area, because the tulips do come up well ahead. They're just going over as the lady's mantle is coming up and starting to take over. So that's the plan for that. So now I need to sort these out. John's been digging out the compost bins, or the first one for me, so that I can put some compost on that bed. It's quite rooty and things because there are trees on there, so I'll dig up a little bit as best I can, but mostly I'll be dumping piles of compost on the bed, and it'll help with the soil conditioning, and also it means I've got some depth there for planting once I get my bulbs in, and then there's a bit of soil on the top of them. So that's today's plan. So all the bulbs are in. We got the side bed finished before lunch, and then I put the rest of the bulbs in the front garden after eating lunch. John is now planting out the rest of the garlic cloves that I broke up a few minutes ago. It should only take him about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to plant those cloves. We're planting 50 cloves this year to get hopefully 50 heads of garlic, and I'm going to put the kettle on because I'm in desperate need of a cup of tea. I actually caved to podcaster peer pressure, not really, but podcaster peer pressure, the other day and bought some Yorkshire biscuit brew. I'm a Yorkshire tea drinker anyway, I have been for years, and I was a little sceptical about these, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try them. It was an impulse buy, but you know what, they're actually pretty good. Even though I don't drink sugar in my tea, so I wasn't sure if I would like them because I thought maybe they would taste sweet, but they don't. They just taste, they smell more than they taste. They smell nice and malty biscuity, and they taste like Yorkshire tea, but they've got like a depth to them. It's the only way I can describe it. It's obviously from the malty flavour, but in reality it just gives them kind of more body. So really nice. Well, I like them anyway. Even John had a sup of my tea when I made some yesterday, and he liked it too. So yeah, thumbs up. The light is awful in here tonight. It is 9:45 and we are about to go to bed, but I didn't want to leave the video kind of hanging, so I thought I'd come on to say goodnight. We have done very little since finishing up in the garden. I think we came in around probably about 3 o'clock, and then we had cups of tea. Oh, I did record. I was coming in, I was making a cup of tea, that was it. And then we had a cup of tea and we watched a movie, afternoon movie, and then we had leftover Thai red curry that I made the other day that I had popped in the freezer. And then we've watched more TV tonight because we're both rather tired. We're both worn out. I am completely worn out. So I've been working on this shawl, and I'm working now on the cast off, the bind off, I-cord bind off on this shawl. I did weigh my yarn after I did this wedge and realised that I wouldn't have enough to do the second wedge that I spoke about. I could have used some of the orange to finish off the wedge, but the depth of the shawl is already quite deep, deeper than I would normally prefer on a shawl anyway, so I'm just leaving it as it is. So it just means I have some leftover yarn to use in a project at some point down the line, which is fine. I quite liked the way that when I made the Easy V sweater, the Caitlin Hunter one, it's like a colourwork yoke, which I did recently, and I used all hand spun yarns in the colourwork for the yoke, and I found that I actually really liked doing that. I like the way that it also brings texture as well as colour to the yoke, so I'm quite keen to do another colourwork yoke of either that or a different sweater with hand spun yarn, so you get that kind of texture there as well, which I just think is quite interesting. So I'm just going to go and shut down everything, put my laptop away, put my camera away, go get a glass of water, and then head off to bed, and I will speak to you again tomorrow. Bye bye.